welcome back to Bolt Action Bunker, and in this episode I'm going to be showing you my secret weapon. Welcome back to Bolt Action Bunker, and in this episode I'm going to be showing you my secret weapon for painting miniatures. And it's not much of a secret really, it's the wet palette. Now if you've not used a wet palette before, I suggest that you definitely get one. It extends the life of your paints, it gives you more time for blending your paints, and it's something that as you progress with the hobby you really should be using. Now I've got a couple. I've got the Army Painter one here, which it's a nice one. It's well made. It hasn't got a clip-on lid, but it's got a lid and it's got a strap round it that travels. So I use this one for when I'm travelling. If I'm away for the weekend and that type of stuff, I can just stick this one in my paint box and it's nice and simple. But before I bought that one, I had a made one. So I just made one up. They're nice and simple, nice and easy to make, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to make your own wet palette. It's really simple to do, so follow along. And if, like I say, if you're not using a wet palette already, follow along this video, make yourself a wet palette, start using it. You won't regret it. Okay, so there's a few things that you're going to need for this wet palette build. You're going to need a little sandwich box like this. Like a plastic sandwich box, a Tupperware box, something with a bottom and a lid to seal it up. Now I prefer something that's not too deep. The more shallower the better. And also a clip-on lid. So get down to your kitchen and you're going to need one of these. And while you're down there you're going to need to grab a couple of other bits as well. You're going to need some greaseproof paper, some baking paper. So you're going to need some of that. And some kitchen roll. So you're going to need a bit of kitchen roll as well. So go and get them and come back and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so this is just a quick video. This is how you're going to put this together. So it's really simple. Like I say, if you've not seen this before, you've got to go and do it. If you have seen it before, fantastic, and I'm sure you'll put in the comments that it did improve your painting. It's a lot easier to use, and then once you start using it you just don't want to go back. So this is how you build it. It's really simple to use. So your plastic container just there, you get your kitchen roll and just fold this up. It's nice and simple. Fold it up so it fits in there. I've actually trimmed my one so it fits in the bottom nicely. So that just fits in the bottom of your tray. Nice and easy to use, just like this. And your greaseproof paper. I've also cut this as well to a shape. Just nice and simple. And then that goes on top, just like that. So that's how you make it. And there we go. So now you've got a wet palette. So all we need to do now is add some water. So you just take that paper out. Okay, so add in your water, just pour it in, let that paper soak it up around there. You don't want too much, you just want the paper soaking just there. There's a little bit too much in there, so I'll just tip a little drop away. There we go. That's it. So there's nice. So your paper towel is nice and moist, nice and wet, and then you can put your greaseproof paper on top, and you should just be able to see the water just sort of take hold of the greaseproof paper and sit on there. Okay, so get your greaseproof paper, put that on the top there, and then you're all ready to go. So you don't, like I say, you don't want the water running across the top of it. So make sure, if you've got a little bit too much water, see I've got a little bit in the corner here, so just make sure that goes away. You don't want that there. So that's your wet palette. So let's have a quick look how you use it. Okay, so these are the two wet palettes. This is the one we've made, and this is my Army Painter one. As you can see, they're pretty identical. This one's got a little bit of like foam, rubber in the bottom here, neoprene type of stuff, but other than that it's exactly the same. That goes down, same principle. Now your paint does dry, so these paints I put on here, these were 3 days ago, these paints I put on here. These ones are still dry. This one is still tacky. So that's 3 days old and it's still a little bit tacky. It's not coming off, but you can feel it's still tacky. So exactly the same as if you're using any palette. You can just take your colour and put it on your wet palette. So you can put it there. Now with this, that's going to stay wet now for, you know, all day. You should be able to blend this and play with this colour all day, rather than putting it on your palette and having, I don't know, half an hour, maybe 3/4 of an hour before it's actually bone dry. So, you know, a lot of my paints, once underneath the lights and that type of stuff, you're lucky if they sort of stay for half an hour before they dry out. So there we go. So that's the paint on there. Now if you want to blend on here as well, you can put your other colour on, and again you can add water to the top of this to blend out. As you can see, it just runs out exactly the same as if you was using let's say a Games Workshop palette, or if you've got some people use tiles or a piece of glass or something like that. It's the same principle. Okay, you're going to use the same thing. So all you're doing is, this isn't going to dry out. Okay, so this is going to take absolutely ages to dry out. So if you've got 2 or 3 colours that you're looking to blend on a model, okay, so if you're looking to blend a couple of, you know, 2 or 3 different colours, that is going to stay wet most of the day. And you can go back to this colour, use it, go back to your next colour, blend that one. You might want that one a little bit lighter, so you can blend that over here a little bit lighter, and that's going to stay wet as well. So then you can just go on with a bit of blending, go back to this colour. If it's a bit, you know, if you muck anything up, you think it's too high, too low, you can go back with your colours. So for something like that, these are absolutely perfect for, and you can see just these colours on here that, you know, none of them are drying, none of them are dry, they're still all wet, and that'll stay wet for, you know, like I say, for a while. And then if you have got to go away for, you know, half an hour or so, you've got to run back downstairs, or you've got to do a job or something, go and make yourself a cup of tea, pop the top on, and that'll keep it moist in there as well. That'll help stop it drying out. So that's what I use my wet palette for, and it is a real game changer. You know, it took me ages and ages before I actually went and took the plunge into going out and trying a wet palette and then purchasing one. But once I did, it was like, well, you know, why haven't I done this years ago? Why haven't I done this? You know, I should have done this ages ago. And now it is my go-to thing. So absolutely superb. It's a lovely little idea. Really easy to make. If you want to go and buy one, buy one. I wouldn't say don't, because I like mine. The Armour Painter one's really nice. There are others out on the market. So the Armour Painter one just comes with a little cover that goes over the top, and you put the strap on just there, and exactly the same thing. Just looks a little bit posher than that, but it does exactly the same job. Okay, so that's my secret weapon for painting. Just a quick, easy tutorial for get you to build one of these. If you've not used one before, like I say, get yourself one. Definitely. Get down to the kitchen, nick some bits off your wife or your partner, get back up, make yourself a wet palette. You won't regret it. Absolutely superb. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one with a few more little tips. See you soon.